Coming in hot.
Woo! You have no idea.
You know what? I believe we make that look good. I think a lesser person would have just folded under the pressure, right?
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Whew.
Well, woo, coming in hot.
Oh yeah.
All right, we are live on all the platforms.
Oh shoot.
Hi, Dr. Tiff.
Hi,
Why
Jim.
did you,
How
you
are
get your
you?
drink? Get your drink. You
Too
deserve
late.
that
Too
drink.
late. Don't nobody want to choke on live. I'm good.
Hi, folks. My name is Jim, and welcome to our live stream. Another hot week of Dr. Tiff and me. This is pretty cool. We are definitely coming in hot. I know Dr. Tiff was working on some things with some very important people in the background right up until go live time. I was kind of doing the exact same thing. It's been busy. But here we are, right in front of the live screen, and I'm excited about this one, Dr. Tiff. I don't know about you. But for those of you that are just now joining, my name is Jim. And I used to be a type 2 diabetic. And I love saying that I used to be a type 2 diabetic because I beat it. For a long time, I thought that this was chronic and progressive. And I thought that it was going to be what ultimately removed me from my family and awful thoughts. This is just terrifying. And you don't know what the future holds. And I felt, I guess, lost and hopeless at some point. 12.2% A1C. I had god awful cholesterol levels, 459 LDL. And I started taking these medications like anybody would. I became a good little patient and did the things. I quit eating foods that I enjoyed. And I tried. And then I came across this system and it allowed me to kind of live again, which is pretty cool. Not only did it allow me to have some foods that I actually enjoy eating, welcome back steak. But, on top of that, Dr. Tiff, it restored hope. I don't feel like I'm looking over my shoulder at the boogeyman anymore. He's gone. I don't feel like he's there anymore. And I think that's the coolest part about this. So, folks, if you've been invited to this live stream by somebody, that means that that person thinks that this live stream might have that same effect on you.
Yes.
Stick around. It's only an hour. This is an amazing live stream. You got a goofball like me and you got an amazing doctor like her. Dr. Tiff, why don't you tell them who you are?
Yes, I am Dr. Tiffany Marie, and I am a double board certified physician in family and lifestyle medicine. So for 20 years, I did the thing. I prescribed all the meds. I had private practice. I had urgent care. I did telemedicine. The last 3 years, I was doing virtual primary care for 48 states. And so I got to see just how sick we are. And I no longer want to be a participant in that sick care system. So I ended up going back to school to learn and became certified in lifestyle medicine. And then I added on in there, I wanted to be a metabolic health coach, consultant, because I think that sounds nicer. But I trained under Dr. Ben Bickman, the leading authority on insulin resistance. And I love hearing him speak every time he talks with Insulin IQ. I started talking about the lifestyle changes we need to do on social media, because where else do you go when you want to tell everybody? The world. So I just got on Facebook and I got connected with a mutual friend, and she introduced me to these products, and I have been loving it ever since. I took that red pill and I have not climbed out that hole. I just keep going further and further and further.
Well, and isn't that the craziest thing? Now, you mentioned Dr. Bickman, and what I love about him is, we could have, and I joke, I don't think I'm a complete moron, but I don't have the education that you have, Dr. Tiff, right? You went to school for 9 years. What Dr. Bickman has this amazing ability of not only giving you the information that will help you, but he also makes it so that people like me can understand. And I've actually heard him joke about that. He breaks it down because he teaches 18-year-olds and 19-year-olds all day long. And he has to kind of break things down so that they can absorb it. And I want to just give a quick little plug for him. He has that website, Insulin IQ. He's also got a book called Why We Get Sick Will Change Your Life. If you are struggling with your metabolic health, if you've got weight problems, heart disease, cholesterol, you got high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, pre-diabetes, read that book. That book might just change your life. And when Dr. Tiff says I studied under him, I learned from him, she's kind of working with him now. That's a big accomplishment. That's not something that is easily done. And I'm very proud that you sit next. How am I going to word that? I'm very proud that I get to sit next to you. I almost said that you get to sit next to me. Hey, you know what, Dr. Tiff, I am glad you get to see me every week.
Of course you are. You gotta let
you know what? It must be it must make your day every week.
Yes.
So anyway, we're going to talk about the Feel Great system today, and it is changing lives. It is simple. It's easy. That's the biggest thing to it. It's easy. It's sustainable, and dang it, it works. It
Yeah.
works. I mentioned I had a 12.2% A1C. I don't know if I mentioned that I have a 4.8 now, completely unmedicated.
See,
It's
shut
simple.
up. You got to lead with that. See,
You
that's some
know, I
good
don't know if I
result.
finished with a 4.8, you know. And I'm completely unmedicated at my doctor's advice. She told me I could quit doing it. So that's huge. That is huge. And we're seeing a lot of people. I'm not unique. I think I'm kind of special, but apparently I'm not, because there's a lot of people who are doing this. And so whoever it is that told you about this live stream, get with them and they can help you out as far as this goes. Now, to that point, if you are one of the many people who is just loving your experience on this and you're thinking, man, I need everybody around me to know about this, this is an opportunity for you to put Dr. Tiff in front of them. Okay. Share this live stream out. In fact, I'm going to encourage everybody who's watching this live stream, share it out with 5 people. Now, in case you didn't know, this live stream right now is going out to 13 different platforms: TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I guess it's not Twitter anymore. X, Gen X, Rumble. This thing's going out to a lot of different platforms. Share this out. Whichever platform you're watching us from, share it out. If you're on Facebook, it's real simple. Just type that little @ symbol and then start typing somebody's name. It'll pop up, hit enter, done, easy. If you're on Twitter, or if you're on Instagram or TikTok, down at the bottom of the screen, there's a little arrow. Hit that little arrow and then share it over. You can send it by direct message. But get this thing out. Let's see if everybody watching right now can share this with 5 people. Yeah, Dr. Tiff, I'm excited for today.
I am.
Testimonials.
Yeah.
The way that this works is we're going to go through and explain. Well, Dr. Tiff is going to go through and explain kind of what the problem is, and she's going to break it down for us so that in layman's, so that we can understand it. And then we're going to bring in a couple testimonials, and these testimonials are real people. These are people that just are telling their story like it is. And then at the end of it, I'll go through, and what little time's left, I will go through how to use the product, how to order the product if you'd like. I will tell you, leading into this, we do accept HSA and FSA. So if that is your accounts, we have those, just so that you know. So put your best listening ear on. We'll be over sooner than it seems. It'll be quick. So Dr. Tiff, who do we want to bring in first?
Well, because we ran in here hot, is my guest here?
Your guest is here.
Oh, yes. Okay. So I'd love to bring in my guest. Oh, so let me tell you the story with this. One, a joint friend of ours, I was just really going to Maryland to do like a personal development conference. I do those. I think that's important for our health, right? And so I'm going, and she's like, you know what? I love these products you talk about. I'm just going to get a room and get a couple people there. So she filled the room with about 20 people. And Harrison and his wife were there. And, I did a whole spiel about, the science, the stuff I'm going to do tonight. And I remember talking to Harrison. I remember him looking at me like, yeah, right. I don't know what you're telling me with this stuff. Like, yeah, right. You could be selling me anything. And so next thing I know, he's got these great results. And he's like jumping and telling everybody, and so excited to be here. So I want to open the floor to you, Harrison. So excited you're here. So excited you slid in at the last minute like me. And I can't wait to hear what you have to say to share with everyone else.
Yes, yeah. My name is Harrison Kamau.
Hi, Harrison.
Yes, I remember coming in on, it was the month of June the 24th when I started the product. And I remember coming, I was invited, Esther, Dr. Esther Ngara is the one who invited us. And I've been having diabetes for the last between 10 to 12 years. And I've been taking metformin, glimepizide, and my A1C was always 8 point something or 9 point something. It never went down, even after taking medicine. And then we were praying with my wife this year, saying, I wish God can give us some people who can give us some good supplements. That was our prayer. Wow. So when we met Dr. Tiffany talking about the supplements or the products, I was a bit suspicious about it at first. Then within a week, we bought the whole package. Is it the big pack? And then it was very surprising. Within the first 2 weeks, I started seeing results. I couldn't even match with my medicine. I was trying to take the metformin, and I have a continuous glucose monitoring thing, and it was going down. I was going to hypo, and so I had to reduce my intake, and I started reducing it to a half. It was still affecting me, so I stopped taking, and my metformin and my sugars normalized, and they were back to where they are supposed to be. And I could check on the phone, and I'm seeing this thing is really working, and I'm, I'm all sold in now. And I started telling my friends, and some of my friends are not believing, but I tell them, you see the results. And today I went to see the doctor. Yeah, I think it was today, my annual physical and all that. And she measured the blood pressure, because my pressure was also a bit high, and it used to be in the 140s, 130s, and for the first time it was 118 over 79. I've never had 118. So it works. Let nobody cheat you. It doesn't work. It works. And if after 2 weeks I started seeing the results, and my belly fat, I wasn't a very big person, but my belly, I had a lot of belly fat, and it's almost gone. I think it has reduced. I've lost a few pounds, not much, maybe 4 to 6 pounds, but my belly fat is gone. And but I know one time I was told by the doctor that I have I don't know what kind of fat in the liver, but it's gone, and I'm seeing the results. And this is almost 90 days. I think by the 24th of this month, it will be 90 days. So the 90 days have worked. So I'm not taking the product away. I'm sold out. I'm all in. That's my story.
Harrison, I have a question. Where is your accent from?
My accent is from Kenya.
Okay. Okay, I was guessing. I was guessing. And here's the thing. I think that people don't realize the prevalence of diabetes throughout Africa, Kenya in particular.
Yes.
It is awful. It's rampant. Is it not?
It is. It even kills people. I've had so many people who have died of the disease, and sometimes they are not even aware of what's going on.
I have a dear friend of mine who's in a neighboring country of Kenya, Uganda, and he says it's like everybody has it. It is such a high number. Everybody has it. And if you look at a staple on the plates, it's rice and potatoes, high starchy food. I mean, am I right?
It's true. It's rice, potatoes, and cornstarch, and or cornmeal, and it's very common there.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was an amazing testimonial. I love that. I loved every bit of that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that
easy. Yes. I do. I love it. And not only that, Dr. Esther's in the comments. She's been tagging people. I love the support, how we support each other. And they've been building out Kenya. Yeah. I love this. As soon as you find something exciting, you're just like, I am for real going back to my people, my family, my loved ones. That's how you know this stuff works. So I am so excited for you. So happy you're on here, Harrison. So happy we get to work together.
I also want to add to that, Dr. Tiffany, you say building out Kenya. Mm-hmm. Throughout Africa, right now, Unicity is available in South Africa as well as Kenya, with Kenya being the bigger of the two countries as far as service. But I believe we're opening up Tanzania. I guess I shouldn't have said that, but I think we are opening Tanzania. Mm-hmm. And look for other countries throughout Africa to be opening soon. But right now, Kenya, it's available. So if you have friends and family in Kenya or in South Africa, it's available there right now. So just figured I'd throw in a little thing there. It's a global type product. So
yes, it is. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, that was amazing. Harrison, so this is the way that it generally works is what I would like to do is shut your camera off right now, but have you kind of hanging out backstage. And when we're done with the live stream, maybe the last 10 minutes or so, bring you back to answer any questions that anybody else might have for you. Would that be all right?
Yeah, that's all right.
Okay. That was an amazing testimonial.
Yes, it was.
Okay. Well, this doesn't seem like it's right.
You did that on purpose. You're not slick.
So much to take in right there. First off, I don't think people realize the prevalence of diabetes in Africa. It's awful. It's rampant through there. And then you pair that with healthcare systems that are struggling as well. And what you end up with, what I've learned, at least through Uganda, not Kenya, but I've got close ties in Uganda. And what I've learned is, and in South Africa, is because of the lack of healthcare, as the elderly get sick, the financial burden falls onto their children. And it ends up being the children paying for the insulin, paying for the medications, and then the medications are just extremely limited there anyway. So seeing something like this, that's all natural, that's easy, sustainable, and easy to push out, it really is changing lives. And I love every piece of this. It's the most, it's amazing. So, okay, I'll shut up. Dr. Tiff, will you tell us what is going on? What's the problem?
Yes.
Gotcha. I do this to her every week.
Yes, you do. Like, I should know. I should be ready, right?
You should be ready, Dr. Tiff.
And I am. I'm ready. I'm always ready. I'm ready.
You're born ready.
All right. I'm born ready. That's it. Okay. Well, the problem. And the reality is this problem is a huge problem. So this Tufts University study that's sitting in the middle of their screen says that only 7% of Americans have good cardiometabolic health. And so I've extrapolated that out to believe that 93% of us are struggling. Okay. That's not exactly what the study said, but come on, I can do my math, right? And then 1 in 3 adults are dealing with metabolic syndrome, which when I go to the next slide, you'll understand it's all in the same family. And then the medications that providers use to try to help these cardiovascular risks only decrease that by 1%. And so, but it's the lifestyle changes that actually make the real change. Okay. Up to 39% with lifestyle changes. And then the fact that heart disease is still the #1 killer. I mean, it's still a problem for me. If that's not a problem for you, I mean, back in 1920s, we were talking about heart disease, and it's still killing us higher than anything in the US. And then the numbers are rising in other countries. So clearly what we've been teaching isn't enough. So it's important for us to get to the root. So if we're always treating the symptoms, we're going to miss the real problem, which is why things like heart disease is still taking us out. Insulin resistance is at the root of all these things. And so understanding that changes everything. So what is insulin resistance? Well, I like to look at the symptoms. So if you're having trouble with cravings for sugar or salty things, difficulty to lose weight, particularly around your midsection, constantly hungry, have the skin tags, that's not just because you've gotten older, or the dark patches on your skin, under your neck, under your eyes, under your arms, even in your groin area, that's from overlying of skin. Insulin can act like a growth hormone. It can make more layers of skin. And once they start to layer up, it can get darker. That's why it can't be scraped off. You can have things like polycystic ovarian syndrome, or you can have the man boobs, erectile dysfunction, feeling tired or having that fatigue, that brain fog, not knowing that your glasses are sitting on top of your head when you walk into the next room, talking about, where are my glasses? You know, when these things start happening more, that's a sign that something else is happening. So when you're talking about the food we eat, they get broken down into 3 macronutrients. You have your carbohydrates, your proteins, and your fats. Your carbohydrates get broken down into glucose, the most amount of glucose. The proteins get broken down into amino acids, but there's a little bit that actually stimulates an insulin response, because that's what the glucose does. And then healthy fats don't stimulate an insulin response at all. So when you have glucose, your pancreas, an organ behind your stomach, has to release insulin. So that's why that carbohydrate, that red spike there, that's high, because that has a higher insulin spike, because carbohydrates get broken down into the most amount of glucose. So when you're looking at this bottom picture here and you're seeing, say you start off with breakfast, waffles, pancakes, toast, and that's going to get broken down into a good amount of glucose, okay? Especially the pancakes and the syrup and the orange juice, right? And so that's going to make your pancreas release a lot of insulin. Well, then, you know, that's going to end up dropping your sugar. You're going to start to get tired, and then you're looking for your snack in the middle of the day. And so most of our snacks are carbohydrate rich. I mean, how many vending machines do you know with meat sticks in there, or some sort of protein or a protein shake? Not that many at all. And so you go in there, you have your snack that's going to kick up the insulin again. And then, a couple hours later, you're hungry again because your sugar's dropped and now your body's trying to replace that glucose. And so you eat lunch, and a lot of times it's carbohydrate rich. And so that's going to give you another glucose spike. And then your pancreas has to release more insulin. And then this goes on for the rest of the day, all the way down to dessert. And you know what happens? Your cells are constantly being bathed in that insulin. Now, insulin is this little black figurine here, trying to push this glucose into the cells, the liver, the muscle, and the fat cells. So without the insulin there, that's like a key to get that glucose in there. That glucose won't get in there. So your pancreas has to release this when you're eating carbohydrates or when you have a good amount of glucose. And so, of course, when I say insulin resistance, I was just at a lunch talking about this today. The first thing people think are prediabetes or diabetes. And understandably so, because those conditions are scary conditions. I mean, we just heard how even Harrison was like, people are dying of this. Well, we're dying of this still. Every 1 minute, one of us is dying of a diabetes complication. This is still real. So with prediabetes, that's 84.1 million people. 1 out of 3 adults are struggling with that. 9 out of 10 don't know they have it. And then type 2 diabetes, 30.3 million people, 1 out of every 10. And then 1 out of every 4 are running around here thinking they don't have that problem, but they do. They do. And so for some reason. Okay. And so when you think that this is related to diabetes, you're immediately saying, well, I had my A1C checked and my A1C was normal. Mine wasn't 12.2 like Jim's. So I can't possibly have insulin resistance. That's not entirely true, because your A1C can be normal and you can still be struggling with insulin resistance. Type 2 diabetes, pre-diabetes, those are the end stage of insulin resistance. So this place when your A1C is normal, you go to the doctor and you have all these symptoms here. You're complaining. You're having the cravings. You're tired. You're having all these things, right? But your A1C is normal. So you got to be normal. Nothing's wrong with you. That's not true. Something is going on. And that's when your insulin is too high, but your sugar isn't. That's before you get type 2 diabetes. That's before you get pre-diabetes. Because that's when your insulin is trying to push that glucose into the cells, and it keeps pushing it in there. So the glucose is not in the bloodstream, but your insulin is. And when insulin is high, it actually causes your kidneys to hold on to sodium, and then water follows sodium, so that increases the blood volume, so thus the blood pressure. And then you also have problems with your nitric oxide, so that way your blood vessels don't dilate like they should. And so that will increase the blood pressure when you have the increased blood volume, right? Then when insulin is high, it causes an increase in triglycerides. It causes a decrease in HDL, your good cholesterol. It causes an increase in LDL, the small dense particles that get in the blood vessel lining. And so that becomes problematic, because as the lining keeps getting thicker and thicker and thicker, you end up closing the lumen of the blood vessel. And that's where you get things like heart attacks and strokes. And then for our women, you can have things like cyst productions because of this high insulin, trouble with weight gain because insulin likes to store fat when it's high. Okay, you can get trouble with hair loss, or hair growth, facial hair on the chest. That's not supposed to be happening to women, but unfortunately, women dealing with PCOS deal with this, and then disrupts the menstrual cycles and ends up causing problems with fertility, to where this is the leading cause of anovulatory fertility for women, meaning they can't drop eggs appropriately. And so insulin resistance likes to go hand in hand with chronic inflammation. And so this causes some other issues. You can end up getting issues with gut dysbiosis, and that's when you have an overgrowth of things that aren't supposed to be there. You have more bad bacteria that are there in your gut. We're talking about your gut lining. Or you have yeast. Our gut microbiome has trillions of bacteria in it, and they have a purpose. They have a job. Their job is to break down what we eat, get the nutrients out of it, and get rid of the rest in our stool, right? So when you have gut dysbiosis, you got stuff growing in there that's not supposed to be there, which means it's not working like it's supposed to. And at the same time, that bad bacteria starts to eat up the lining. And so now you have permeability, you have leakiness of the gut. So now you have stuff leaking out into your abdominal cavity that's not supposed to be there. That bloating, that abdominal pain, that irritable bowel type stuff, that's not supposed to be there. That's happening because of gut issues. And so when you actually improve or treat the bacteria in the gut with the right things, you can actually see these things improve as well. Well, when you have chronic inflammation, that actually messes up your T cell function. So our T cells are part of our immune system, and they tell your body what not to attack. So if that's not functioning right, go with me here. You're going to start attacking stuff that's not supposed to be attacked. And so when you have stuff leaking out into the abdominal cavity that's not supposed to be there, your immune system's going to try to protect you, right? Well, it's going to actually start attacking you as well. And so that's how we can get things like autoimmune conditions, because that's literally your body attacking itself. When it attacks the brain, that's multiple sclerosis. When it attacks the joints, that's rheumatoid arthritis. When it attacks the gut, that's Crohn's, ulcerative colitis, and the list can go on. So I like to say this because I believe in empowering people to understand that they can make these changes. They really can. So there's 5 things you can do immediately. One is trying to eat more of the low carb or low glycemic index carbohydrates and do that immediately. The next is cutting out the processed carbohydrates, because nobody needs to eat those. I don't care what anybody says. That is not healthy on anybody's diet at all. Unfortunately, that's a little easier said than done for some people, because some people actually have a carbohydrate or sugar addiction and need some help with that, right? Then there's exercise. Resistance training is great, but for my people that aren't doing anything, just get up and walk. We can start there. High fiber. Yeah, try and increase your fiber. I mean, I like to average around at least 30 grams of fiber to actually improve your risk for cholesterol, which is great, but it dampens the effect of the sugars that get in your bloodstream. And then time-based eating. And so, yeah, I already said to stop the processed foods, because this is such a big process. This is such a big problem. I had to say it twice. Okay. They are addictive. And so there's so many signs that show how you can be addicted to sugar. Wanting to eat and snack all day long. I mean, hunger feels like it takes over you like a roaring lion. And the reality is our brain likes it. It lights up dopamine. I mean, almost as bad as some of these other illicit substances. Yeah, but it's the only food that does that. Sugar is the only thing we eat that gives us that type of addictive response, to where we feel like we just can't say no and it's calling our name. And that's really because those processed foods, those processed carbohydrates are getting stripped from the fiber. There's no fiber there. That's the problem. So it really shoots up that glycemic index, that glucose spike that I was showing earlier. And so it really allows that insulin to come in and shoot it down, as well as the dopamine spike. But why do we need the fiber? Because it dampens that effect. I believe that that's how this was made. Our fruits and our veggies, they were made particularly with the outside fiber or the inside fiber, so that it would protect us from the effects of having too much sugar at once. One, it helps the body with inflammation, but it also dampens the effect of how the sugar gets in the bloodstream, as well as the cholesterol. As well as the antioxidant effects of the different colors. We need those polyphenols. That is what our body's asking for, especially those trillions of bacteria. And then fasting. Fasting is huge. What's so great is we could hear from Dr. Jason Fung, who literally wrote a book on how he reversed people's type 2 diabetes with fasting. And not only that, it's almost like it is a detox of some sort. When you fast past a particular point, 17 hours to 72 hours, that has been called autophagy. That was found by Dr. Osumi in 2016. He got the Nobel Prize for that. You get things like enhanced immune function, getting rid of pathogens, viruses, bacteria, toxins. I mean, you get rid of broken mitochondria, so that way you get them to work efficiently. So many things happen when you just stop eating. And so you think about all this, you're like, well, can GLP-1 help? Everybody and their mama's on it. It must be doing something. Yeah, it can. The great thing is we actually make this ourselves, but what GLP-1 does, it delays gastric emptying. It activates satiety centers, meaning it helps you feel full. Well, we have a medication that's been made to pretend as if it is our GLP-1. It binds to a receptor. It's a receptor agonist. And so what it does is it pretends like it's that hormone causing the satiety and making the food move slower. But at the same time, it comes with risks, baggage. The weight loss, 40% of that is lean muscle mass or bone mass. And we kind of need our bone and muscle. I want to be 80, able to get off the floor, right? And then the other complications, thyroid cancer risk, pancreatitis, gastroparesis. That's when your stomach is like paralyzed. Does that sound problematic? It should. Or gut perforation. We already talked about how leaky gut is a problem. That's just leaky. This is actually a hole in the gut. These things can be like surgical problems. So surgical emergencies. So do we want to take a medicine that causes that? And then after 2 years of taking them, what happens is the way that they block those cravings, those sugar addiction issues, those carb cravings, that stops working as well. And you start to need more of the medicine or a new medication. And this right here is looking at how it blocks your ability to make muscle. So when you stop using it, all the stuff you're gaining back is fat, and you never get back to that amount of weight where you were, where you had that amount of muscle. So when I say all that, it becomes common sense. Well, what is a natural way to do this without all this awful baggage, right? The great thing about the drink we like to talk about, the yerba mate extract, is that it has chlorogenic acid in there. That improves insulin sensitivity. That's the problem here. Your cells are not responding like they should. So that reduces glucose absorption in the gut, which is great. That way, it's not sitting in our bloodstream, but also helps increase the uptake in the muscle and the fat cells. So that way it's using that energy instead of leaving it out in the bloodstream for your pancreas to release more insulin. Reduces inflammation and oxidative stress, which are the things that actually increase our risk for heart disease, and then helps with the energy, the focus. That's why we feel good on it. Then you have ferulic acid. When it gets broken down in the gut, it actually keeps the amount of GLP-1 in your system. It stops the enzyme that wants to break down GLP-1, making that work even better with our gut. Theobromine, dilating blood vessels, helping with the blood pressure, helping with the mood, the saponins, having antiparasitic effects, and then the fiber, because I like my microbiome. I like to treat my gut healthy. I like to treat my gut right. You treat it right, it treats you right. And since we have 90% of our serotonin coming from our gut, we want to maximize how this bacteria works so we can get the benefits from it. Bottom line, insulin resistance is not genetic. It's 100% your lifestyle. And so when I talk to people, I feel like I'm this superhero doc, empowering them to make these changes so that they feel superheroes of their own health. So I'm just a doctor who's tired of writing just prescriptions. You can follow me on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and yep. And I'm here every week.
So easy. You make that easy. You make it absorbable. It's like you learn from somebody or something, like you went through. I don't know, like Dr. Dickman, right?
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Tiff. I hope everybody learned something from that. You know what? I'm going to ask a question. I've never asked this before in one of our live streams. If you just learned something, just say, just type in the comment section, I learned something just now. Let's just see how, let's just go with that. I want to get a little bit of action. I learned something just now. If you just learned something from the great Dr. Tiffany, and I'm just going to add to that. Thank you, Dr. Tiff, for joining us every week. Mm-hmm. I think you make me look good.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so I want to bring up our second guest, and I have to admit, I just met this gentleman like in the last week or so I don't know him that well. I'm getting kind of echoes of some of his story. I'm really excited to hear this. Stephen, not Josh. This is a funny story because when I met him on a Zoom call and it said Josh, and I was like, I thought your name was Stephen, and he said, yeah, I don't know, some story. This guy's got, every time I talk to him, he's got a different name. His real name is Stephen.
No, yeah, with that, I went to start a new Google account, and it wouldn't let me put my name, which is weird because my name's in the, the thing, and it wouldn't work. So yeah, finally, I just got frustrated and just randomly put a name in there, and it took it. So now I'm not Josh.
I asked that question, and on TikTok, we're getting people saying something. I learned something. David's saying I learned a lot. Aww. Julie is saying always. Caleb Stone is saying I learned something just now. I learned something.
I love that. There's a lot. Absolutely learned something
Dr.
there.
Tiff, apparently, you're teaching people a lot.
That's the goal.
That's the goal. That's the thing. I always learn something from Dr. Tiffany, Sheila, and I can keep on going. There's a lot of them. Maybe I will just keep on going. Well, Stephen, not Josh, is giving his testimony. Maybe I'll just put something up, just keep going. Anyway, Stephen, brother, talk. What has this done for you?
Well, first of all, I want to say hello, Dr. Tiff. I've never been able to say hi or meet you before, so very much a pleasure. Good evening. And the pit master himself, I love talking to this guy every time, only a couple times, but every time there's always something that is, let's go, let's move, we're doing this, and here's how. Absolutely. Anyways, so I started this after I was sick, and it's just a few months ago. Back in late February, I fell out and I ended up going to the hospital 3 separate times. Friends showed up at my house and literally like drug me out, and took me back to the hospital after they kept telling me they had no idea what was wrong with me. And the third time, it just was this big mess. And then finally, I started feeling better. And you know how it goes. Like you're on this roller coaster and you're just going down or you're going up, and it's just this constant thing. Well, I come back and I saw a very close friend of mine. Matter of fact, I just seen his face pop up there. And he had lost over 50 pounds, and that was just since I was sick. And I literally thought that this man was not going to be here with us, and here I'm sick and I'm coming back, and this guy's way better than I was. uh and it's like I was actually dreading the moment that I was going to get the call from his wife. That's how bad he was. And when I finally got healthy and enough to be coherent, well, all of a sudden he's better. And not only is he better, he's telling me how he did it. And it was these protocols. He started telling me about this. And I started laughing at him. I was like, no, I'm like, you found the fountain of youth. And like it was a joke. And he goes, no, like, if you would have seen this guy, like or heard him was really the truth, you just never would have believed he would have ever came back this strong. And, you know, all of a sudden he's telling me how he did it. And I went, you know what? Let's do this. Let's go full steam ahead. Let's go. And here I am. And now let's fast forward a little bit. It's about a month, a little bit over a month. And we're talking, I've lost 24 pounds in 4 weeks. 3 weeks was 22 pounds. And, so it's like we're just moving and everything. It hit me so fast. It was insane. Like 3 days, I felt like all the effects. It just started coming. And, just I knew after 3 days that this was going to be my thing for me. And so the brain fog is at an absolute all-time low. My skin tags are almost completely gone. I had no idea. Like, I'm sorry, I have no medical at all. I know what it's doing, and it's insane to me. Like, I'm so excited. My skin tags are just mostly completely gone. They were literally this whole area. I had them all over the place. And I feel way younger. My energy, if you can't tell, I don't need any extra energy, but I've got a lot of it back. uh, but I just really, I want to say thank you for letting me be up here with you guys. It's an actual complete honor. Thank you, David, for telling me what happened to him and why I'm here. And I on a whole other side of things, not trying to reveal too much. However, you don't really know what's broken in the bedroom until you just wake up one morning and you're falling out of bed in the middle, the morning. And yeah, it's like 10 years younger. I couldn't even, it just blows my mind. And anyways, not, not
You
sure if
can
this
know
is
what he's
part of it.
hinting at there, Dr. Tiffany.
Oh, I know. And shoot, I'm so. I wish y'all wouldn't be so.
What do you call that?
coy
You
about
call
this.
that a doorknob? What do you call it?
That's
Uh,
that doorknob question. So
The
I
doorknob
love to hear
question.
this.
As they're leaving the office, grabbing the doorknob, hey, by the way, doctor, is that what that is?
That is. And what he's saying is that's fixed. I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
I mean, I was gonna call it a kickstand, but that works too. But it's like now 10 years younger, and we're right back like it never left. It just blew my
Aw.
mind. And and I'm not sure if this is part of it at all, but things are tasting better. I don't know. Like I thought it was cool. But in my mood, more level, more just gung ho. Let's roll. But yeah, that's basically all I got.
And you know what, brother? I love the fact that, I mean, obviously, you know, I've been talking a lot about the energy that we get, and clearly we got energy.
Sorry, guys.
The one that is really it's challenging is people, especially men. There's a thing with our manhood, if you will, and that is one that they don't talk about. Guys just don't talk about that. And so I really do appreciate you, Stephen. We've actually had some gentlemen up here that have talked about that. I think of Royal, the end of last year, Royal came in and talked about that. And we've had a couple other people talk about that, but that really is a real thing, guys. There's no blue pill necessary. Just got to work on the blood flow. So I appreciate that, Stephen. If you don't mind, what I would love to do, brother, is let me shut down your camera here, but I want to bring you back in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Okay, anybody, Dr. Tiff, do you have anything you wanted to ask him before I shut that camera down?
No, I appreciate his whole
Yeah, that was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what I want to do real quick is I'm not actually meaning to do that. I'm not. I promise. I promise, Dr. Tiff. If anything, it should be like this. It should be like this. It should be this way, right? She's the queen. So what are these products? How does this work? And I'm going to talk about United States, North America, so Canada, the United States, Mexico. These products are available in 60 different countries. The protocol, the emphasis, if you will, may be slightly different depending on where you're at. So I'm going to kind of use the United States as we talk about how the system is used. So first and foremost, we have a product called Unimate. Unimate is a yerba mate extract. Maybe you've heard of yerba mate. Yerba mate is a South American tea. It's been pretty heavily consumed for the last 500 to 1,000 years. The indigenous people of the regions of South America that are now Argentina, Brazil, Paraguay, parts of Uruguay, those people would say that this was the drink of the gods. They would say that it gave them an amazing boost of energy. It gave them appetite suppression. In fact, it is the national drink of Argentina to today. And it's the most widely consumed drink in South America. It's a rite of passing, really. It's a thing, a cultural drink, if you will. Now, what it is, there's a leaf that's grown in South America in those regions against Argentina, Brazil, Paraguay, Uruguay. That leaf is really only grown in that region. There's a thick red clay-like soil. There's the dense rainforest climate. That really is the only place that leaf will grow. Now, what Unicity does is they own the fields, the farms in those regions. And they're still paying highly skilled farmers. And it is a very highly skilled farmer that it's a very trained eye to know when to harvest this. They're hand harvested. It's not done by machine. They're hand harvested, and it takes a trained eye to know when it's ready. And as I understand it, that entire harvest window is like 1 to 2 weeks. It's close. It's tight. So they hand harvest it. They fire roast it in a very similar way to the way that it's always been done. But then they stop the traditional process and they extract the really good things out of yerba mate that we want. Things like chlorogenic acid, theobromine, the mate saponins, the antioxidants. Now, chlorogenic acid, Dr. Tiff kind of touched on. It lowers blood pressure. It's an appetite suppressant. It aids in weight loss. It helps regulate glucose and lipids metabolism. It helps increase GLP-1. Chlorogenic acid is kind of this like magic wand. It kind of is. And it's naturally occurring. It's a polyphenol that occurs in vegetation. And it's really abundant in yerba mate. And what they do, Unicity, is they take the good things like chlorogenic acid, they extract them, and then they concentrate them. And what we end up with is a tea that has about 20 times the chlorogenic acid of a typical cup of yerba mate and about 10 times the chlorogenic acid of a typical cup of coffee. Now, the reason I bring up coffee is in nature the most abundant resource on earth for chlorogenic acid, the green coffee bean. And for that reason, a lot of the research on chlorogenic acid revolves around coffee. Now, I want to show a study really quick. Let me see here. Bear with me a moment. I should have had this pulled up because, this is how I do. Share this. Okay, so this here it's an article that I found on PubMed Central, and it's looking at the roles of chlorogenic acid on regulating glucose and lipids metabolism. And it's very, very interesting, but I want to scroll down here just to the good stuff. And I think I just scrolled too far. I know I did, actually. That's how I roll. Here it is. These two lines right here. For example, it is reported that daily consumption of 3 to 4 cups of decaffeinated coffee containing high contents of chlorogenic acid significantly reduced the risk for type 2 diabetes by 30%. Chlorogenic acid is a novel insulin sensitizer that potentiates insulin action similar to the therapeutic action of metformin. So chlorogenic acid, and I could go through study after study after study, but it lowers blood pressure. But it's a novel insulin sensitizer. And what Unimate has is an awful lot of that. Now, this study right here, dang it, was done by Dr. Ben Bickman, Dr. Tiff's mentor. This is yerba mate supplement exerts beneficial tissue-specific effects on mitochondrial efficiency and redox status in healthy adult mice. You'll notice that this was done in October of 23. And I always like to point out it was done on healthy adult mice because they had to sacrifice the mouse to get to the tissue that they were studying. And people just aren't willing to do that, Dr. Tiff. But you'll notice this is Dr. Ben Bickman's name on this research. He oversees the Laboratory of Obesity and Metabolism at Brigham Young University. The guy studies fat cells for a living. And if we scroll down here to the materials and methods, you will see that he was studying Unicity's Unimate. This is really important, okay? Now, what Dr. Bickman says is, and I love the way that he describes this. If you were to take your car and park it in your driveway and just rev the gas, just sit there and rev the gas, whoa, 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 you know, it's kind of wasteful. You're just burning fuel. Nobody wants to do that unless we're talking about our fat. What he says Unicity, what Unimate does is just that. It kind of gets your body just revving up itself, revving up the mitochondria, and it makes us a more efficient fat burner. In fact, he did an interview shortly after he published that research, and he said that this tea increases our own GLP-1 production by up to 70% during a fasted state. That is huge, Dr. Tiff.
Yes.
Now, the second product that we have is called Balance. Okay, now Balance is a patented blend of 7 different plant-based fibers. It's paired with a multivitamin. Now, back in 1989, Rexall Pharmacy, they saw that the food industry was over-processing our food. They were getting rid of the good things like fibers and the vitamins and minerals. And rather than come out with one single fiber like their competition had done, they started looking at a diverse blend of fiber, 7 different plant-based fibers. Each one of them kind of had its own individual strength. And when they put them all together and paired them with that multivitamin, that thing kind of broke the standards. That was studied at the Cleveland Clinic. And if you're unfamiliar with the Cleveland Clinic, if you just go over to Google and ask Google, what is the top heart hospital in the United States? It will tell you the Cleveland Clinic right there. Okay. In fact, that right there leads to this article. In this article, they ranked them not only number 1, but they gave them a perfect score, 100 out of 100. Now, the reason I'm talking about them is this study right here, you'll notice published in 2002, September of 2002, actually 23 years ago this month, looked at a fiber and multivitamin combination therapy, putting those two together. Does it matter? If you wanted to look at this, you could click that little link right there, and that will bring up the actual publication. This is Metabolism Journal, and you'll see this was a double-blind, placebo-controlled, randomized clinical trial. It was peer-reviewed. It was published, and you can see right here, it's been cited 20 times. This is very, very compelling. You can't read the entire research paper right here, but you can download the full issue right here. It's free. Download it. I encourage you to do that. And if you do that, that brings you to here. This is the full text. And this is pretty interesting. You'll notice it was done at the preventative cardiology section of the Cleveland Clinic in 2001. It was submitted in 2001. It was accepted February of 2002. It was published September of 2002. The fiber tested was BIOS Life 2. And I'm going to point that out real quick. BIOS Life and Balance are one and the same. And they went on to say, by the time of the interim visit, which was 4 weeks after randomization, the treatment group demonstrated significantly lower LDL-C than the placebo group. That trend continued for the next 4 weeks to the end of the blinded phase. A significant reduction in LDL-C. Here are the numbers. You can actually see them for yourself. Go check them out. In fact, if you wanted, you could check out unicityscience.org, and you can find this research real easy, along with the other more than a dozen clinical validation studies. But you'll see total cholesterol, HDL improvements, triglycerides. This thing was just absolutely amazing. In fact, the Cleveland Clinic went on to say such a product, if taken regularly, could reduce cardiovascular risk on a population basis and potentially decrease the need and or dose for lipid-lowering prescription drugs. Dr. Tiffany, 23 years ago this month, the Cleveland Clinic said that Balance, BIOS Life, could potentially decrease the need and or dose for statin medications, statin drugs, lipid-lowering prescription drugs. That is huge. Now, for some of you, maybe some of you remember this, maybe some of you don't. I'm going to pull up my little show and tell here, Dr. Tiff. Are you ready? Weight training. Who remembers this book? This thing, goodness, you could sink a boat with this thing. This is huge.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where your doctors and physicians, your pharmacists, your physician's assistants, nurse practitioners, this is where they would go to look up information about commonly prescribed medications. Things like Ozempic, things like metformin. They will list nutraceuticals. They love listing nutraceuticals, but a nutraceutical to be classified as that, there has to be clinical validation behind this. And I want to pick on some of the things that might say that they compete with Balance, like Metamucil, like Benefiber. People might say, well, it's just like that, right? No, those are not in that book. They're not in the physician's desk reference. And it's interesting because Metamucil is owned by Procter & Gamble. Procter & Gamble's like a $90 billion a year company. If they wanted to, they could just buy the physician's desk reference. They could just like write a check and be like, it's now the Procter & Gamble's physician's desk reference. But what they can't do is buy Metamucil into it. Mm-hmm. The reason I bring that up is if you will look on the book, it says pdr.net. It's now in digital form. And I encourage everybody watching right now to go to the PDR. Go and actually check it out. Put your medications into it. Be an educated consumer. You're going to put these medications into your body. Go to the PDR. Look them up. See what they have. But what you can do is you can type in Unicity, and you will find Unicity. Not only is Unimate and Balance in there, but they have 19 different products in there. There's a lot of different products. We have a heavy emphasis on these, but my goodness, if you are looking for nutraceuticals, a quality nutraceutical brand, here you go. This is it. Now, if you look at Unicity Balance, you can go to the prescribing info, full prescribing info. Your doctor can look at this up. There's no contraindications. There's no drug interactions. There's no long-term side effects. I say long-term. You may get diarrhea. That's what happens when you introduce good fiber to an unhealthy stomach, right? Mm-hmm. But you'll notice Unicity Balance, also known as BIOS Life, they are one and the same. So with that in mind, these products, Dr. Bickman is now the director of the Scientific Advisory Board. And while we do love Dr. Tiffany, you're not alone. There's a lot of doctors, a lot of pharmacists. There are a lot of there's neurosurgeons now, cardiologists, nurse practitioners,
ophthalmologists,
yes,
chiropractors, naturopathic doctors. We got them all.
Crazy. How many people from the medical profession are saying, hey, man, I'm sick and tired of writing prescriptions. Let's get something that actually works. Dr. Tiffany isn't alone. So if you want to try these products, they cost $159 for a 1-month supply in the United States. That would give you 2 teas per day. So you're going to drink 2 teas. The way you do it, I drink mine hot. You can drink it cold. You can drink it in a bottle like Dr. Tiffany's. You knew I was coming with that. Or you could drink it in a Yeti tumbler like I do. You do it how you do it. The trick is to sip on it. Sip on it. Don't chug it. Sip on it. When one's gone, drink your second one. You're going to find it makes your fast easier. You're going to find that food noise is gone. The brain fog is gone. The energy, my goodness, your energy is going to be just there, just like Stephen was just saying.
Yeah.
GLP-1 will elevate. It will help regulate your glucose and lipids metabolism. It's amazing, okay? Before your heaviest meal of the day, you take one of these balances. On that bottle that Dr. Tiff has, there's a line for balance. Fill it up with cold water. Give it a few shakes. Down the hatch as quick as you can. Enjoy your meal. Pair that with a 16-hour fast, and that's it. That is it. This system costs a little over $5 a day. You can't get through Starbucks for $5. You can't get through McDonald's for $5. Nope. Give yourself, invest $5 a day into your body. The best part about this is they give you a 90-day money-back guarantee. If for any reason you are not satisfied, as in, you know what, I don't like the flavor, I want my money back, they'll give you your money back. If you're not satisfied, they'll give you your money back. But what they're promising you is you're going to lower your A1C. You are going to lower your glucose. You're going to lower your cholesterol. You're going to lower your body weight, your blood pressure. They're guaranteeing it. If you're not satisfied, ask for a refund. Plain and simple. Okay? If you want to order the product, we do. Unicity does accept HSA, FSA, credit cards. They're very flexible. Okay? Get with the person who invited you here, and they have a referral link. They'll share their referral link with you. That gives them a discount when you get started. If you love the product, bring them here to this live stream right here. Let Dr. Tiff and I talk about it, and you'll get a product discount. Okay? It's that simple. Doc, did I miss anything? Okay.
No.
We got a couple of minutes. Awesome. Is there any questions that I missed?
There was something in there about blood pressure on it.
Let's see.
And can you use the product?
There we go. Can I take this with my blood pressure medicine? Because I take blood pressure medicine, is it going to hurt me?
So there are no known interactions with medications. This is an herb and fiber. The only thing you run into is if your prescription bottle says it needs to be taken on an empty stomach, you just don't take that at the same time you take a balance. But there is no known drug interactions.
So we had Michael Martin co-hosted last week, Dr. Tiff. He was on 4 different drug medications, blood pressure medications when he started. And within like a month, he started having problems with his blood pressure was normalizing quick. He had a conversation with his doctor, and they said, well, yeah, stop taking the lisinopril. And they said, stop taking the losartan. And after about 2 months, he was off all of his blood pressure. He was on 4. He was on lisinopril, losartan, amlodipine, and I forget the 4th one. But it was like, goodness, geez. Within 2 months, off all of those medications. So
I do say keep your doctor at hand for situations like that. And there's some people that may be a little caffeine sensitive to where I just dilute the instead of 1 bottle, it's 40 ounces of water with 1 packet, and you sip on that.
That's what
you do a gym.
Okay, so I'm not sure. Is Harrison? Are you able to hear me, Harrison? I'm not sure if. There you go.
Yes, I can hear you.
So Harrison, I wanted to ask you a question. Let me see. I want to make sure that there are no other questions over on TikTok or over on Instagram. I don't think we have any other questions, Dr. Tiff. Harrison, I want to ask you a question that I ask everybody at the end of these live streams, and it's my favorite question. There are a lot of skeptics. There's a lot of people looking at this saying, yeah, right. Yeah, right. Come on. Okay. Harrison, if you had 30 seconds to address one of those people, what would you say?
I would say that the product is real. After I took the product for the first 2 weeks, I saw a big change. I was having high blood pressure. I was having my pressure was coming to around 140 most of the time. The lowest blood pressure was around 120, 129. And then my sugars my A1C was very high. Within 2 weeks, I was able to normalize my sugar. And within I think 2.5 months, my blood pressure is coming to around 118. So the product works. So it's not fake. It's not something fake. Somebody's trying to do a quick sale, but it works and it's real.
I love that, Harrison. Same question to you. And actually, before you go, Stephen, I want to ask Dr. Tiffany. We got a question over on TikTok. User 7707 asked the question, do you need to stop unicity prior to a surgical procedure?
Well, it kind of depends on the procedure. Most of them, they'll tell you specifically, because some of them want you on a total empty stomach. So talking to your provider is what I tell everyone to do. If they allow you to have green tea, then it becomes, then can I drink the tea I usually drink? And most of the time they're like, yeah. But it depends on the procedure. It really does. But most times people do keep up with their Unimate. But again, as a provider, I can't be your doctor to say that and give a blanket statement. Wish I could. Can't.
I hope that answers your question, 7707. Stephen, back to the question that I asked Harrison a moment ago. There are a lot of people out there that are skeptical, and rightfully so. There's too much snake oil in the marketplace, right? Too many people trying to sell these easy fixes. What do you say to that person out there?
I mean, even for myself, if it wouldn't have been a good friend of mine that was falling out and I seen him all of a sudden literally Lazarus himself right up out and, out the door and kicking it open. He wasn't walking, he was kicking the door open. And that's exactly where, you do it. Just try it. That's it. I can't say anything else. I was a skeptic. I seen it. It's real. It actually is real. I'm literally on. I do it. I love it. And I'll never go back.
I love that. Gentlemen, thank you very much for your testimonials. I appreciate you a lot. I really do.
Yes,
I think everybody appreciates your being candid. Stephen introduced something that a lot of guys don't want to introduce, and I'm very thankful that he did that, because Stephen, I don't know if you know or not, you just helped a lot of people, a lot of men that weren't going to bring something up. You just helped them. So, Dr. Tiffany, another week down, Dr. Tiff. Talk to me. What do you say to those people?
I say the reality is almost one person dies of a diabetes complication every minute. And the reality is we know someone's struggling. Do we want to be the person walking into the hospital room with them with the tubes in their arms and the tube down their throat and the daggone beeping machine? Do we want to be the ones walking in there, seeing them in the bed and thinking, I wish I would have told them about these products? My father died 20 years ago with natural products. I knew nothing. So I refuse to be that person now. And if that's you, if you're the one thinking you're about to be in the hospital bed, I need you to get these products. What's stopping you? If that's you trying to hold your mouth to help other people, I need you to understand and wake up and see this picture with me and understand how much better you would feel knowing you were able to help someone you loved, you cared about. That's all I got.
Follow that. That's powerful. Thank you, Dr. Tiff. Everybody, we'll be back next week, next Wednesday, same time, same place. Share this live stream out with people. This goes out to a lot of different platforms. You can follow Dr. Tiffany on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook, Dr. Tiffany Marie. You can follow me on every major social media platform, The Healthy Pit Master. It's the Healthy Pit Master on everything. You find it, I'm there. This is live on Twitter. This was, I guess, X, whatever you want to call it. So give us a follow. If you have any questions, I guess I need to wrap this up with, if you want to order these products, get with the person who brought you here. And if you stumbled across this live stream, get with Dr. Tiff or myself, and we will kind of point you in the right direction. More than anything, let's get you healthy together. Okay. There's no reason to be sick.
Yes.
You guys have a wonderful week. Dr. Tiff, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jim.